People who vanish without a trace and then suddenly return are often treated as mysteries of crime or psychology. But a small and disturbing subset of these cases defies both categories. These are individuals who disappear for days, months, or even years, only to reappear alive, physically unharmed, yet completely unable to explain where they were or what happened to them. No memories, no sense of time, no coherent narrative. In several documented cases, the person remembers their identity and life before the disappearance, but the entire missing period is erased, as if it never existed. Authorities investigate, families demand answers, and doctors search for neurological explanations. Yet nothing conclusive emerges. Brain scans appear normal, toxicology reports reveal nothing unusual, and there are no signs of trauma. What makes these cases so unsettling is not just the disappearance itself, but the total absence of clues after the return, leaving behind a gap in reality that science struggles to fill. One of the most cited examples is the case of individuals found hundreds or even thousands of kilometers away from their last known location, wearing unfamiliar clothes or carrying objects they do not recognize. Some are discovered living under new names, holding jobs, or renting apartments, all without any recollection of how they arrived there. Psychologists often associate these events with dissociative fugue, a rare condition triggered by extreme stress, yet many cases lack any identifiable psychological trauma beforehand. In other instances, the missing person reappears in the same place they vanished from, reporting no sensation of travel or passage of time. From a scientific perspective, this raises uncomfortable questions about memory formation, identity, and consciousness itself. If a person can function, interact, and survive without forming memories, what does that imply about how awareness truly works, despite decades of investigation? No single theory accounts for all these disappearances and returns. Neurological explanations fail to address the logistical impossibilities, while psychological theories struggle to explain the uniformity of memory loss. Law enforcement files remain open, marked with unanswered questions and conflicting testimonies. Families are left with relief mixed with unease, as the person who returned is physically the same, yet altered in subtle ways, sometimes displaying different habits, preferences, or emotional responses. These cases sit at the uncomfortable intersection of medicine, criminology, and the unknown, challenging the assumption that every human experience can be fully documented and understood, as long as people continue to vanish and return without explanation. These stories remain reminders that memory, identity, and reality itself may be far more fragile than we assume. In some cases, medical examinations reveal subtle anomalies that deepen the mystery rather than resolve it. Electroencephalograms occasionally show unusual but non-diagnostic brain activity, while cognitive tests confirm that intelligence, language skills, and long-term memories remain intact. The only missing element is the period of disappearance itself, erased with surgical precision. Investigators note that this selective amnesia differs from typical memory loss caused by injury or disease, which usually affects broader cognitive functions. Even more puzzling are reports in which the returned individuals display knowledge or skills they did not possess before vanishing, such as fluency in a foreign language or familiarity with locations they claim never to have visited. These details are rare but documented, and they complicate any attempt to classify the phenomenon as a known neurological condition. Each anomaly adds another layer of uncertainty, suggesting that the mechanisms behind these disappearances may involve processes not yet fully understood by modern neuroscience. Historical records indicate that this phenomenon is not exclusive to the modern era. Accounts from the 19th and early 20th centuries describe individuals who vanished during routine activities and reappeared years later with no recollection of the intervening time. In many of these cases, there were no reliable methods to track movements, no surveillance, and no digital footprints, making verification difficult. Yet the consistency of certain elements' sudden disappearance, survival without explanation, and complete memory gaps appears repeatedly across different cultures and time periods. Researchers studying these historical cases argued that the absence of technology may have masked how frequently such events occurred, rather than indicating they were rarer. This perspective reframes the phenomenon not as a modern mystery, but as a long-standing human anomaly that only now can be partially documented and analyzed. As investigations continue, These cases force uncomfortable questions about the limits of explanation itself. If memory defines personal history, what happens when that history is partially erased while the individual remains functional? Law enforcement, medicine, and psychology each approach the problem from different angles. Yet none can fully account for every detail. What remains are fragments of testimony, incomplete and lives interrupted by blank spaces that can never be filled. These disappearances and returns challenge the assumption that human experience follows a continuous, traceable path, until a framework emerges that can explain where these people go and why their memories fail to follow them back. These stories remain unresolved, occupying a space where documentation ends and uncertainty begins. Cases of people who disappeared and returned without memory remain officially unresolved, suspended between scientific inquiry and unanswered possibility. Each account leaves behind a void where explanations should exist, reminding us that not every mystery fits neatly into existing frameworks of psychology or medicine. As long as these stories continue to surface across different countries, eras, and circumstances, the phenomenon demands attention, scrutiny, and open investigation. If you want to explore more real cases that challenge what we think we know about the human mind, identity, and reality itself, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Share your thoughts in the comments, especially if you believe there are explanations we have yet to consider. Your engagement helps this channel continue uncovering the most unsettling and unexplained stories from around the world, and ensures you won't miss the next investigation into the unknown.